Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. I'm unfortunately still ill today, so if I sound a bit stuffy, I apologize, but you're just going to have to deal with it, I'm afraid. So today we have a 1v1 between Raider and his opponent, gone to get some milk, Bison, otherwise known as Barcast. He has decided to change his name. I still can't quite understand how to pronounce it other than Bison. Like the animal, but spelt differently. So, Barcast, feel free to, correct me. I'm quite happy to learn how you want it pronounced, but, yeah. And, so Bison here is starting Armada and going bots, and we see the opposite here from Raider going vehicles. Now, what map are they on, you ask? Well, as we zoom on out a bit more smoother than what I was attempting there, you can see that this does not look like a 1v1 map, and you would be right, because this map is generally played as a team map, and there are several positions in which you can spawn actually as an 8v8. We have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a terrible 5, but you get the idea. 6, 7, and then 8. So, from a 1v1 perspective, there are a lot of places that you could spawn. So, scouting in this early phase is going to be key as they try and work out where each other are. And then spreading out to metal as quick as possible is then also going to be important. Now, both of the players have kind of positioned themselves almost mirrored in terms of the actual start position in orientation to the map layout. And the reason for that is, realistically, if Raider places a LLT here, a couple here, but realistically probably send his units that way. And then, like, over here, he can have this entire corner pretty safely locked down. And Bison rather, has basically gone for the same idea, but he's just building slightly further forward. Now, as we can see here, Bison will be able to get up to this high ground pretty easily here, but when we select the constructor here of Raider, press F2, you can see that he can only move via this path here, which means he can get up there. He's just gonna take him a little while longer, and to be honest, with Raider's start position here, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And so early scouting has revealed for Bison that his tick is standing upon the mountain, able to see all, and Raider is not able to do anything about it. And now he will have full vision basically of this area here, and there's nothing Raider can do. Meanwhile, Raider has gotten a location of where Bison has started. Attempting to get a res bot here, will not be able to get it in time though, and then has to fall back. Now, this is somewhat dangerous for Raider, as this pawn here can quite easily move over this ridge line, and this is a pursuant threat, because it can move like this and just get straight in the base, and he's probably not expecting that. Now, interestingly enough, that is not what Bison has chosen to do. Instead, driving straight into a LLT and a incisor, which, to be fair, you didn't know the incisor was there, but still. And again, pawns able to get where you would not expect. Now, this is a difficult choice because there is a lot of flat land on this map. So going vehicles is not a bad idea. Like, you've got a lot of terrain to cover. The biggest problem is when you actually get to the objective, which is the opponent's base. There's a lot of hills that bots don't have to worry about. So it's like bots are a good defensive and offensive if you can get to the opponent's side of the map choice. Whereas vehicles are a lot better in the open terrain in the rest of the map. There's a difficult choice, really, as to where you want to go. Now, Raider has been a bit slower on its expansion. This expansion, especially behind him, where you would think it would be safe, which actually isn't. It's taken a while to get up and running. Whereas Raider losing 2 incisors at the top here is a bit of a mistake. But Bison already well established in his back area, getting this triple mechs and using his commander to push out and build quicker, whereas Raider, however, is using the build power of the commander here. Now, another thing Raider can do with his commander while he's here is he could choose to build a bunch of tidal right in that sea, right there. Plenty of options. Barcast, or sorry, Bison, it's going to take a little getting used to that. Will not be able to do that unless he builds a vehicle lab and then goes amphibious, which I doubt that's going to be his plan. But he is struggling with energy right now, even though wind is up at 12. Having to rush out some solars here in an attempt to try and stabilize his energy economy. Now, when energy does fall to 2, this is going to be very, very harsh on Barcast. I expect him to keep these solos up for a little while. We may see an advanced solar or 2 to maybe help stem that tide. But that's about it. We see some good plays here by Bison here, using these pawns, as we mentioned before, into a bit of a blind spot that Raider has. Raider successfully defends that attack and then manages to get around that defensive LLT that we were talking about earlier on. And now he will be able to get some economy damage. I don't know how much he's going to be able to get done. The biggest problem is here is that he's already got incisors ready to defend. And so they will get some lone mexes, which to be fair, he's only just started getting those mexes. And there's not really much for Bison here to climb over either to get away. He's hoping on Raider's inability to pay attention to this and trying desperately to get this constructor. The micro does work out and he does manage to get the con. That has taken ages for that constructor to get there and is now dead before it even finished the rest of the metal extractors. And by going vehicles, Raider doesn't have the choice of resbots either, so he's having to now pump out more and more cons in order to counter that. Centurions up at the top making short work of these incisors as they just run straight into LLTs. Unable to even take out the LLT, losing 4 incisors for nothing. That is not good. A bunch of incisors in the middle will stop a push, but there is another Centurion there as well. And this is still anyone's game at this point. Barcast has been spreading out a lot better. You can see all of the economy numbers are blue. Is Barcast expecting some shurikens out as we see a crossbow or 2 in the production queue here. 9 pawns, 1 mace. Oh, I don't know why a single mace. 1 centurion and a crossbow. If you happen to know why he's got that single mace, let me know in the comments, because I don't know why you would build a single mace. Now, quickly switching over, we see Bison here actually having a vehicle lab as well. So be interested to see if he stops production with that bot lab or if he keeps it going. Now this lab down here will provide pressure along this bottom side, whilst the bot lab at the top can apply pressure at the top. Whereas Raider, with still a single factory, he is losing bit by bit map control. And this is a bit of a large force that he can't really deal with. And little does Bison know that pretty much nothing's stopping that force that could just push straight through here. And just nothing to stop it at all. Good grub pawns do attempt to break through, but armed metal extractors do make the attrition on this a little bit higher than maybe Bison was expecting, and nothing really gets done there. Strong defensive position at the top here with 3 armed exploiters, but Radar struggling again with energy. And finally, we see main tanks coming out from Raider. But again, without energy to properly have these things fire, they are a bit slower, but it does still do enough to hold on. Desperately needing more E production. Raider's really struggling. I'm surprised. I'm still really surprised his commander hasn't just walked in the water here and started building some titles. He is massively stalled on E, and yet he's not really scaling it up too much. He's got a single guy building wins. Two guys building wins. 3 guys. Okay, maybe he is building it. Building advanced solars. I mean, his energy is going back up now, so that works. Push in at the top is doing pretty well here. Armed metal extractors are only so good. And with Centurions left versus, you know, a few incisors, that will not go very well at all. And Maces and Centurions again making their way up to this high ground. And Radar losing more and more metal extractors as times go on. Surprisingly, though, this one guy manages to get tremendous value, taking out 4 units there. And that is a lot of metal to now be sat at the top. 1.38k. Well, it's adding more and more. And at the same time, the top was also controlled of 1.5k. So Radar in a fairly decent spot here. Actually controlled most of the reclaim fields. The only thing that was lost is this reclaim field here of 600 metal. So that's a pretty good outcome for Radar. Radar does lose a construction vehicle here basically for free. He can't really contest that either, and neither should he. His Janisses make very short work of that brute. Now, we can see here an air screen starting to form for Barcast. No bombers or anything yet. His opponent still hasn't gone air, rather. Oh, bit of friendly fire on the Pounder. And Bison unwilling to go in on anything here. Oh, as I say that, he has gone well and truly in on this attack at the bottom. Pushed straight past, but his attention must be elsewhere because now he is just sitting these tanks here. What are you doing, Bison? Move them! Move them! They could be getting so much value, but instead just sitting there losing health. Now, Radar, we can see on the minimap here, has actually gone Tech 2, which is why his quantity of units is so lacking at the moment. But Bison being extremely defensive. Like, this force here, he's got so many units here, he could push just straight across, and he doesn't realize. Actually, I mean, he should realize he's had vision here. He knows there's like not much there, But instead, he's actually just walling off that area. Also attempting to wall off the north. Happy to seemingly concede that ground and focus on where his vehicle lab production is instead. Now, Raider doesn't really have the forces to push this either. Neither player has. But Bison in a pretty decent position. Still no shurikens out from Raider. And Tech 2 units will now start rolling off the production line for Bison. Tech 2 economy. Now, Bison is ahead on economy in all stands, basically. So, Raider needs to do something here. Now, an early Tiger or 2, 3. He's positioned them to counter this army, but he's still completely forgetting about this army here. Raider does know that it exists, so it's not like he can just ignore it for long. But to be fair to Raider, if he moves this army to counter this one, this army here is just going to move straight through. So it's a bit of a difficult game. At the same time, Raider's army could just get surrounded if he keeps it here by Barcast just moving up and both armies in at the same time and just completely destroying this small force of units. And literally that is what we see him doing now. Both armies going in at the same time here to attempt to surround this small force of Tech 2. And flanking damage does a lot. So this is a bit dangerous now. A lot of metal to be left on the ground here. But Bison misusing his forces here. Grouping them up quite a bit. And these pounders just doing tremendous work. I don't know if Pounders got a buff recently, but they have been extremely strong recently. I guess they've just recently gotten maybe a bit of a splash damage. Because we're seeing a lot of players in 1v1s build a lot of Pounders. And they're still extremely slow, and when grouped up on like this is not worked out very well at all, but... Oh, mistake as well as Raider loses yet another constructor. Or actually doesn't. Oh, almost. Oh, but this amount of Tigers should be enough to end this Tech 1 ball of units. As Bison is a bit slow on the move here. The Tigers making very, very short work. A lot of fighters over this... fight here as the construction aircraft get as much of these wrecks as possible. And Raider unable to do anything about it. He's trying to build up his own fighter wall, but it's a bit late, really. Really, really struggling for energy production here, both players. And metal produced, look at the difference between the two players here. 20% difference. 70,000 metal for Raider, sorry. And 90 for Bison. That is a huge amount of metal. And we finally see, I was about to say, we finally see an attack here by Raider. But no, he's just, oh yeah, okay, fine. I spoke too soon. I judged you, I'm sorry, Raider. Moving in these 3 Tigers. He'll get a bit of damage here. Taking out a very good Radar. Commander is nearby. The commander could stop it. At the same time, we see a good fight taking place up here. Just both players trading blows a bit. The top is now completely stagnated due to the walls that were placed. Yeah, and as that commenter rightly says, this is the commander rather. He loses that. That's the end of the game. He needs to be careful. He could just walk and D-gun that, but chooses not to. And does Radar see the Tech 2 factory? He does not, but he does see build power here and defenses going up. So he knows something's there. This factory, the factories that Bison built here, has done a huge amount of work. But the early Tech 2 lead that Radar had is starting to come into effect. You can see the amount of Tech 2 tanks he has as opposed to the amount that Bison has. Now, Bulls are very strong, though, so I expect to see maybe a Banisher or two in the mix start appearing. Or what we actually end up seeing, apparently, is a Tsar coming out. Bison's commander, though, currently uncloaked, as there are a large amount of Tigers right next to him. Commander now cloaked, but that was risky. Using a metal storage, but that's it. And Raider falls back in time. That was risky. Bison's commander could have been killed there if he didn't react quick enough. We see a lot of fighters here. No player going for a bombing run. There's a lot of economy here that could get taken out. And the fact that Bison has actually built 2 Tech 2 vehicle labs here. This top one is just building build pattern. If you press shift space, you can see here's actually not. It's building consoles and bulls. And this bottom one is building bulls and starlights. A lot of production coming out from Bison here, which is interesting. He's still building out a bunch of Tech 1 units as well, which I say that he's literally just reclaiming the Tech 1 lab. But not actually going into anything. He's got Tech 2 up there as well. Tech 1 up there. He did go for titles in the end, which is why he is currently okay for his energy production. Not only that, he has fusions up as well. Now, as this Tsar approaches the front, you can feel its impact already being felt. The third fusion going up from Raider, and the first anti-nuke being built here. Now, one thing we do see very interesting here is Platypus is being built by consoles, and you know what that plan is. You can see them right here. They're going to make their way across this water area, and due to the fact that this area has been stagnant for so long, Raider is hoping, or Barcast, or Bison is hoping that there's basically nothing up here anymore and that these units are just going to be able to run straight through. All of these will get killed. But these platypuses may be able to get some decent damage here. Units are now being rushed up here by Raider, but 1 mech is down. 2... All the bulls roll through afterwards, getting even more, but these guys are just kept a little bit out of range. Gets this con that's at the top. Now, Tech 2 units are having to rush up to the top to help defend. Meanwhile, the Banisher has now arrived at the front. Oh, and a large amount of build power just gets taken out there. At least 4 air constructors get sniped by that flak turret just before it dies. And the Banisher now will keep these units at bay. At least until the Starlight comes out. Raider's a bit mis-microed here. A lot of res bots. just sat there. And Bison, losing all of them, loses the Banisher here to a bunch of pawns. How embarrassing. But meanwhile, the entire top part of that economy completely wiped out. We see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 metal extractors gone. We could see armed metal extractors being built here at the top, and that would pretty much defend that area for a while, but nothing yet. And oh my goodness, look at all the Zars. Zars and Banishers. So much splash damage, so much health. But an atomic bomber now making its way over the army turns around. Looks like it's going to go and try and drop on these Zars. Oh, but Miss Micro of the atomic bomber makes it land and killed before it's able to do anything. That's a huge mistake there by Bison. And I'm not the only one that saw that, apparently. His Rixie also calling out the massive loss here. And these Zars doing a lot of work. Bison really struggling to amass enough forces here. But he might not need to, as Tech 3 is now being built. Tech 2 in the base being reclaimed. Fighters being pumped out at an alarming rate here. And he's getting that Tech 3 up as quick as possible. Bison not spamming any form of ticks here to try and deal with the Zars. It's still pretty close. Raider going demons, actually. Which, as we found out a little while ago, actually do really well versus Razorbacks. And, yeah, a very, very, very forward Aphis. He is on his 5th fusion, though, bear in mind. So there is no Tech 2 energy conversion, though. He's only building Tech 1 energy converters. And Raider is currently floating metal, which I'm guessing is maybe the reason why. Oh, but the atomic bomber lands that time. And Zar's not shooting at any of these pawns right up close and able to get great value as a lot of Zars go down. Yeah, 25k metal in the bank. That is a lot of metal. And now the demons are making their way forward. But really, Raider needs to up his air production. Rixie finally building up. Not Rixie, sorry. Raider finally rebuilding this stuff up the top. This small Zar task force making its way along the top. This has forced Bison to send a Razorback up here to deal with it, rather than sending Razorbacks towards the center. Now, demons do have AA. Oh, but here comes the tick spam. Tick spam's to deal with the Zars. There are pounders there as well, which can help deal with tick spam. Not if they just shoot the Zars instead, though. More atomic bombers come in and drop the bombs. Goodbye, Zar. Desperately needing to up his fighter production, really, to deal with those Zars. And so far, 4 demons on the field. 6 demons, apparently, including the one in production. When we look at Razorbacks, we have 5 Razorbacks, including the one in production. But the big difference here is that Bison has Tech 2 Air. He has several atomic bombers. And this is a very, very juicy, juicy target. And there is only Tech 1 fighters. No AA. No decent AA, at least. Raider makes a bit of a push here with this one demon. And a single demon on its own will not win out, especially with pulsars. It does almost still kill the Razorback, even with Starlight support. And finally, Tech 2 Air from Raider. These fighters will do pretty well. Why he's got all of the fighters within range of the Razorback, I don't quite know, but expecting that, clearly. Bison losing all of his fighters again. And these demons just getting squatted by the Starlights. He really needs some spam to try and tank some of these shots. These Starlights are going, these demons are going down before they're able to do much. Hoping to get the res bots here. He does manage to get the res bots just in time. But still a lot of eco to be had there. 32k metal. So much. Demon now pushing through the center. First hit on Bison's economy in a while. You can just see how quickly these demons kill Razorbacks. And those ticks just annihilated. Yeah, Raider really needs some form of spam. Desperately needs spam to soak up these shots of the Starlights. Force Bison to spend some micro in taking out or focusing fire on the demons. Instead, he's just spamming out more demons. Oh, but this micro of the Starlights here caused all of the Starlights to go down. Meanwhile, at the same time at the top, misuse of atomic bombers makes the atomic bomber just sit there as well. And this is a bad turn of events for Bison, as he's just kind of not really paid attention to the front at the wrong time and has lost it all. Resbots coming out on force from Raider. Just see how quickly those demons kill everything. These pawns mean nothing to them. And now Bison's commander in a very, very precarious situation. Not being shot at, but this has been a stronghold for Bison the whole game. And now it's bye-bye this defensive position. And the Tech 2 defense does manage to take out that one last demon. But as there's one coming around on the north. Bison going in for the D-gun. Does get the D-gun off. That one's dead. If he sees these tidals, though, that's kind of what's powering this economy to a degree here. But this is a big economy hit for Bison here, losing a lot of metal extractors. And not only that, opening holes up for small raids to come through. Meanwhile, this 30k of metal is being slowly rezzed by Raider. A lot of Tech 2 gunships down, though. Huge fighter wave coming in. And who will win this fight? This is Tech 1, mostly fighters, and a few Tech 2 Cortex versus ARM. And it's no contest. The Cortex fighters win tremendously. Bison has been throwing away fighters for a while, and this is kind of showing it now. As, oh, a Titan coming out though. And in counter to that, we see a Juggernaut being built by Raider here. Raider now on his third Aphis. Dragons as well. I mean, this is an 8v8 map, right? So there is a lot of economy to be had here. And we're seeing these players put them to use. There are 3 demons just sat here at the top. Not really doing anything. Look how much metal there is as well. 8k at the top. Looking at the economies wise, we see that economy scaling for Bison has kind of stopped for a while now. He's not been scaling up. He's actually stopped tech-free production as well. He's spamming a bunch of ticks to the top that are just sat there. I kind of think he's really struggling to think of what he wants to do. He's losing the air war big time. And now the titles get spotted, and Bison is about to start losing quite a bit of his energy production. I mean, when you look at just this square, it's only producing 300 energy, so it's not really that much now when you're looking at 13k. This Titan is just not really effective versus dragons. And there's not much that Bison really can do. He has no fighters that can really counter it. And instead, he's actually having to switch to Marauders here for the AA of the Marauders. Seems like the Titan does manage to escape by the skin of its teeth. One dragon does go down. Same time, though, these demons now push forward. The res bots are just going up there before the defense and the fight is even finished. I don't know quite what happened to Raider's Air Force. I missed that. But Raider lost most of his fighters at some point, and that's kind of turned the air fight into anyone's game. Raider, though, accessed 13,000 metal. And he's now going for his... How many is that? Going for his 4th Aphis. While still building just Tech 1 energy converters. Why Tech 1? Don't know. These demons attempted to make a bit of a push in here, but the Tech 2 gunships are doing a tremendous job. Not only that, there's a Tech 2 defense there, which is helping. And don't get me wrong, Barcast, or sorry, Bison, I keep calling him Barcast. Bison is on the back foot. There's no doubt about it. But he has some good, strong units. The air kind of contest is kind of anyone's game at the moment. I don't think it's any one specific person's fight here. It's very even now as we're watching this fight kind of take place. If Raider was using his air, his metal rather, a bit better, then it may be a different ball game. Yeah. Raider building a second tech-free lab because he just doesn't have enough production. I mean, look at how much metal he's got. He's excess 13k. That's the cost of, you know, 2 demons. But oh, yeah, I was just about to say that landed caught on the ground. Bit of a mistake there. Losing 25% of his health already. The jammer has already gone as well. Question is, does Raider see it? He does see the dot. And this is going to be it for Barcast. Hoped for the best, but didn't work out. That was a very good game. Well played, both players. It's just, yeah, that Barcast had a very strong position in the mid game, and even like the early game was relatively his favor. As soon as he blocked off those top sides, though, it kind of played more into Cortex's playstyle of chunky units in one spot. And if we look at the stats, metal produced Bison was ahead for a lot of the game up until basically right at the end, where you could just see a huge difference there. Energy produced is well, you can kind of see where the Aphis is started to come online, and yeah, Bison just stopped scaling and got outscaled. Well, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.